What is up, Sideways fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today is the much awaited video for all of you Is300 lovers. Look at this car. Isn't this just totally beautiful? Oh, you guys got a little sneak peek of what we're talking about today. But today, guys, for all of you guys who are Is300 lovers or trying to do your NAT setup, just like this beautiful beauty behind me, this is not a GTE, you guys, okay? Like, it looks like a GTE because we did a GTE valve cover conversion. For all of you guys, I'll make another video about this for you guys in the whole nine, but this is a 2jzge-Gte. I will even show you in the video that you can know from the water neck that it is a GE and not a GTE. But today's video is about, boom, the brand new Rad Industries 2jzge-Gte to 2jzge-Gte upper intake manifold adapter to the GTE JDM intake manifold, which goes over the top and is no longer, well, which is forward facing and no longer over the top, my bad. But anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and go through this. It's a beautiful piece. I know who ended up making this for him, and they're a badass machinist. So the blending and everything on this is super good. And the price that he has it for is actually very, very, very awesome. I believe he's retailing this thing for about $225. And for what you get with this, that is a freaking killer deal, you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and talk about this new adapter plate. So here we go, guys. You got your crap 2jzge-Gte VVTi engine right here on the floor. We got our painted GTE intake manifold on the floor over here that we're planning on using in the Is300 if this does work. So let's go ahead and get this adapter. Oops. First thing I'm going to tell you about this. There are Fitment O-rings the whole way around. You no longer need to deal with silicone or anything super ghetto and gay about that. It slides right on, which is awesome. And we'll talk about this issue we're gonna get into in a minute right here. But if you look at the blend on the bowls, oh my God, is that not beautiful? That's like a ported intake manifold, beautiful. Ported head, beautiful. That is badass. So, you know, thumbs up to Rad Industries and Rad Dan, dude. They did a badass job on this. Yeah, that is a nice piece for if anyone's looking for horsepower. This is not going to limit your horsepower at all, you guys. This is going to make it be pretty much perfect. Super, super nice piece. I don't know if it's going to fit in the Is300 because of clearance, and nobody seems to know this yet, and I want to be the first one to do it. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick, though. So basically, I've already gone ahead and drilled out, as you can see right here, the intake manifold ears. As you can see right here, these have already been drilled out. So we tried to drill it to fit because I didn't think about it, but there is a hardware kit that this comes with to make it fit. And if you look at the holes as we drilled them, it still needs a shit ton more drilling and only goes on about this far, which will make it so that at the end of it, there's gonna be like not enough material here. But we did end up figuring out, Dan goes ahead and gives you a stud that goes into here that's a 12 millimeter that goes into the actual manifold, and then it converts it on here to a 10 millimeter. You have enough room, you don't need to modify the intake manifold. So good job on that, that was good thinking. There's recessed holes here that he has to have it mount. So the first thing you'll do is you'll go ahead and put these 3 bolts in, and then remove these studs that are on the end here. Then he has new hardware that will slide it through. So what we're gonna do, without me needing to torque all this stuff down and run it all out and make it be super, super long, is we're gonna go ahead and on the Is300, let's look right now and see if this is gonna clear or not clear. And actually, before we even do that, I'm gonna go ahead and do some measurements just from like the block to the intake manifold and from the head to the intake manifold, and see if even by just measuring everything out, if it's going to even be close or what the differences would be. So let me get a measuring tape. Let's go ahead and measure this one, and then we'll go ahead and go in the office of the GTE and then move our way from there. From the head, let's go ahead and go back if we can. No, not gonna fit in there. From the head, where the intake manifold meets the head, it's a 6 3/4 inches from the head to right here. Okay, from where the gasket meets the head, we're here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over 6 3/4 to a GTE engine and see. So luckily we only have 1 bolt in this non-VVTi GTE that we have right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and measure now from the head. I don't think you can get it, you gotta be over here, dude. we're gonna go ahead and measure from the head right here to where it meets the surface where the gasket would be to the end right here and see where we're at as well, because that's gonna be a huge factor in understanding how, if this is gonna be higher or taller or anything. So if we go this way, we're at less than 6 inches. I don't know if you guys can see that. So on it, basically, it's kind of hard to hold this and explain it though. So maybe I can just hook the back of it, but you're less than 6 inches from here to here. We were at 6 3/4 over here for the other intake manifold. And if you look at the runner assembly, it actually curves up quite a bit. So the runner on the GTE is about this much longer, somewhere right here. So about this much longer, so about a finger longer. So that's going to be an issue of how high it's going to come, because we can see right here with an intake manifold on. Let's go ahead and just throw this back on real quick. And I don't have hardware here. Oh, I do have a hardware here. So screwing this in real quick just to see where we're at. I'm going to measure from the top of the valve cover to the top of the intake manifold, and also show you that the measurement between the manifold to the valve cover. Okay, so manifold to valve cover, you're looking at 4 and less than 1/4. Okay, from the manifold to the PCV valve, you know, let's just say back here. So still, we're still less than 4 1/4. And then as far as from height wise, if we were go to where the head is right here and go straight across, I would say, I mean, let's just go from the top. So let's get like a piece of paper or something. Alrighty, so just for like shits and giggles of having this be like kind of ghetto but still work, this is a tie rod box. So run the tie rod box straight across as straight as we can. We're at 4 1/2. Okay, so from the base of the head down here, where it's actually metal in the casting, where the cam sensor sits, which, I mean, you could also do the measurement from the rear, but since this one's a non-VVTi, we're going to do it from there, which may actually be a problem. Let's go ahead and go to another spot. Let's go from the rear cam sensor, which it should be the same thing. Yeah, so still somewhere around 4 1/2. So VVTIs are not going to have that, so it's going to be a little bit different. But anyways, that's the measurement for that. So let's go ahead and now go over to the other one, and we'll go ahead and put the adapter on. We'll go ahead and kind of just go from there. And I mean, I will tell you, even by showing you on the car where the strut bar sits right now, and this would clear the strut bar no problem, because we do it all the time for Is300s with the strut bar with the GTE, because you can see the curve. I mean, you're not too much higher. So let's see how much higher this rad kit sits, or kind of what it's all going to be. Also, just checking to see kind of like how big the adapter is. I can't really tell. 1/4 inch maybe? What do you think?
Go from 1 into 2. Yeah, like 1/4.
Okay, so about 1/4 inch thick. So, alrighty, let's go ahead. So now that we're by Squire's car, we're going to grab 2 of the recess bolts that we need to do this. I've already removed the studs on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in 2 of these bolts, if I can get them in quickly. Hopefully I don't drop them. Really quickly, I'm just gonna kind of just snug these down with my fingers so that it's at least past the point where it's going to be a problem to lay the intake manifold down. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and lay this in.
You're gonna need hardware.
We're gonna need the studs then. Here. Alrighty, so instead of using the crazy bolts that he has, I'm gonna go ahead and just put these ones in. And this is one of the holes we got right here. And judging by where we are in the back. So it looks like you can install this in the car and it wouldn't be a super huge deal. I mean, everything seems to go together pretty good and fit okay. So I can already tell the intake manifold is way taller. And that's not necessarily a problem from like their machine work. It's just the fact that the whole runner assembly is already way longer. So if this runner assembly, I mean, and you can see even in here, we just did the measurement in here. I mean, you can see the whole entire fuel rail. So it's completely exposed. And that's cool because now you can see, I mean, here, let's grab a strut bar real quick. So no way in hell is this gonna clear. You can see right here, you need to go down a whole, you go in Okay, you can see you need to go down, this is the amount right here of how high we are basically, which is probably gonna be very close to the measurement that we took before. It's about an inch. So anyways, beyond the strut bar, because that's not really that important, nobody cares about that. So even from here, this is gonna be one of the highest points in the hood, and it's already like right here. So going from here to here, we're gonna need something straight again to go across. But even by eyeballing it, I would say we're at about 5 inches. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's about 5 inches across. I mean, I don't really want to get some paper, guys, so whatever. Do your math. We'll go ahead and double check and see what the reference point is. But then also from the head to here, let's just do it this way then. So from where we measured it again to the PCV, we're at over 5 inches as well. So you can see right there as well how much wider set this manifold is. So once again, it's not the problem of the adapter, it's going to work. And in a car where this sits lower and you have more hood clearance, like I guess a Supra or an SC300, because it's the same car, this may fit fine. The engine in these kind of sit kind of high. So, I mean, if there was a chassis that sat down low enough to where you could run this would be beautiful and work great. And I mean, you have all the room to get in here, like this would be awesome. But really what has to happen is somebody has to make a billet lower assembly to have this work, or what they normally do is they just cut and weld the GTE and the GE intake runners together and like blend it themselves, but that's a lot of work. So for Is300 guys, I'm pretty much just gonna tell you straight up, this is not gonna clear the hood. I mean, we've already tried with Squire's carbon hood. Go ahead and grab the hood. I don't think we actually even need to even test fit the carbon hood. So let's just go to the fender line, you guys. Look at how high this sits out of the fender line. Like, I don't know, like, it looks like it's just hanging out. Even the engine almost seems like it's hanging out on this thing, but if you look across that way, it does clear the fender on the engine, just the manifold, there's just no way. Let's look from the other side too. Just to see this way too, because I mean, it is very, it kind of catches the eye, you know? So come up. The hood, I guess that the engine is very close to where the hood would be, but I mean, whatever. But I mean, look at how much taller the intake manifold is than the engine and how high I have to go to even see the fender. Look, so even if we wanted to, you can see it sticking out over the fender line, regardless of anything. Yeah, so the engine, of course, is below the hood line, but that's the problem, guys. So definitely not knocking the product. It's a beautiful product, and I think it'll work flawlessly and phenomenally. But for all you Is300 lovers that are into the DIY and trying to get it to all work the way that you want it to work, sorry guys, this is not gonna work for you. I hope this is the first video that gets put out about this. Definitely not trying to knock anybody for their stuff. Like I said, that is badass. Like Dan did a badass job working with the company he used to go ahead and do this. It's beautiful work. So, I mean, like, I would love to run that on my car. I hope it fits in a Supra. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, because the standpoint of the engine's so low. I don't really think it'd be a problem. I hope it works. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't really say anything. Logically, it makes sense, but once again, without actually having the data, I don't know how we'd be able to even do that. But I will show you guys something that we use and what I think is the best for budget of what it kind of is. So basically, so here's one of our typical sideways setups that we do for all of our NAT stuff. This is the excess power intake manifold plenum. These are pretty cheap, you guys. I mean, you're looking at 200 bucks, you know, 250, $300, depending on who you're buying it through or what the rate of what they want to charge you for extra is, and yada, 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 yada. So basically this, as we can see, gives us plenty of room. It actually sits lower than the valve covers, and we're not going to have any kind of issue for clearance or anything because we have this in multiple of our cars. Obviously, when we build the wiring harnesses, and once again, to show you guys, 2jzge-Gte, water neck is on this side, hooks up directly into the radiator. A GTE will have a different port here, a different manifold design, and it will go like this. So anybody that's gonna tell me, oh, it's a GTE, it's like, no, you guys, this is a 2jzge-Gte. So VVTi engine, obviously you can see the VVTi solenoid and everything else and the whole valve cover setup. It's just a GTE valve cover conversion. So anyways, yeah, I mean, as far as fitting your OEM battery box, I mean, it does not fit the best with this. We usually just remove it, and I'll go ahead and make a custom harness and basically run all the wiring back behind and make it look all badass like we normally do. And then you have all the room in the world for intercooler piping and everything else too. But without me ranting, I think this is a better way to go. We have our own throttle body that we use that are made overseas and stuff that we haven't had very many problems with that work fine. I go ahead and weld in the ports for the intake air temp, for the brake booster, for everything in. I mean, it's just aluminum, guys. When you buy it, it looks very similar. Well, I mean, they never come in black, but basically it's this big old tube that you get with everything here. Come with the gasket, come with hardware. And to go ahead and install it, it is a pain in the ass. You have to have a smaller arm than me because my arm gets stuck about halfway down the runner. But you have to go ahead and go inside and bolt everything in on the inside of it. Use a little bit of Loctite on the bolts and tighten them down. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, Vinny's got the arms that actually fit. Look, you can go arm deep the whole way in there, down and dirty, nice in there, dirty like, nice and deep, baby. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till next time, guys, keep watching, like, subscribe, peace.